Hello YouTube, this is Christian coming to you with another review. This time on the table is Maxpedition's Sitka Gearslinger. That's a 15-liter sling peg made out of 1000D nylon, which is impregnated with Teflon. And this particular one has been in use for almost 2 years. On and off between this one and the Vanquest Envoy messenger bag. I'm quite fond of this particular style of backpack. One of the reasons is that if I'm out and about with the family, then I prefer that quite a lot over a traditional backpack, mostly because of the fact that I don't have to take it off to access all the contents of a sling peg, and we'll get through that during the video, but before we go into the details of the interior and the carry style and all that, let's just have a look at the outside. And well, mostly the pack is pretty much compartmentalized into 4 main compartments. So starting out at the front here, you have that largest sub pouch, if you want to call it that. You've got pelts webbing on the front, and you've got a little document pouch on the front here. I'm keeping the bungee cord in here, which usually is sitting in a crisscross pattern across the top for smaller items that you might want to attach from the outside. And I do have a little bit of additional webbing for the occasional need in here. And you can see that Maxpedition is putting a fair amount of thought into securing your zippers to make it a little bit harder for thieves to get to your stuff. And what I like about this one, especially this front pouch, it offers a fair amount of volume, so it's not one of those flat no volume compartments. It is actually quite useful. So this is the front of it, and then we get into the individual compartments in a moment, into the bigger ones. But on the side here, what you get by default is this water bottle holder, which just pretty much has a pulled string here and a bit of cord that allows you to compress it and close it down so you don't lose your water bottles. It's a good feature. Personally, I would have preferred if they decided to put pelts webbing on this side. The water pouch is fine, but it actually goes down and is stitched into a relatively narrow volume here at the bottom, which isn't ideal. I would have preferred it if it came out a little bit more, but it works. You can quite easily get a 2-liter water bottle into this side. On the other side, on the outside of the pack, you have pelts webbing. It's stretching from all the way up here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strings of pelts webbing there to attach your accessories. I'm a guy, I like to have lots of hydration with me, and quite often, as I said before, out and about with the family, and that means for the little one I will carry an additional water bottle that I usually want to have accessible on the outside of a pack. And for that particular reason, this is a Maxpedition AGR water bottle holder, and this one I like a lot because it kind of opens up into a relatively large volume, and you have your shock cord here that helps you to secure your water bottle, which is adjustable from the inside, but it also stows away nicely and compactly. And they also integrate this little zipper guard so that this doesn't open accidentally. So I really like this, mostly because it's also a dual purpose kind of pouch. If you don't use it as a water bottle holder, you do have the option to use it just as a regular vertical pouch, just like a drop pouch, and that is a feature I use a lot. and I like it. It's also quite compact. It flattens down quite easily. It doesn't add too much bulk to your overall carry profile, so that's a bonus. Down here you have your connection to your sling, and they integrated 2 rows of pulse webbing here as well for a radio pouch or a smaller drop pouch if you desire to have additional storage capabilities or accessories on it. Then we go to the back of the pack, and in here that's your concealed carry pouch, and on this side you can see you have a big loop patch, and this is ideal for putting your holsters in. For me it's a non-issue. That's why I just have these magazine holsters, which are versatile enough to put other things onto it as well. It can also accept other items. It's a fairly big unit, although I have to say directly behind the padded bag I don't usually put items. It just adds bulk. You get high spots where the bag rests on your back, and that is usually something that I'm trying to avoid. But other than that, you also have a ventilated area that's all nicely foam padded, and I cannot complain about the comfort of this pack, so this works really well for me. Now, as far as your carry system is concerned, you can get this pack in a left and right hand version. For me, I like to carry it over my left shoulder, and that might be different for you, but the way you carry it is pretty much, in this case, around and atop of your left shoulder, and then carrying across your chest all the way to the right side of your hip. And on top of that you have an adjustable support strap sitting here, and that is immensely useful. Mainly the way I like to carry it, I have this big buckle open all the time, so I can just slip under here and just carry it on one shoulder like you would carry a backpack, thanks to this particular support strap. And if you choose to close it up because you're going for a walk and not just out of the car, you can just buckle up your shoulder strap on this end here, and you're good to go. As far as comfort is concerned, I've been carrying this loaded with maybe a total load of around 10 to 15 kg, let's say 20 pounds thereabouts, all day without too much troubles. It's not quite as comfortable as a regular backpack, and you have no hip strap or other load bearing system incorporated, but given the 15-liter volume, this is a relatively small load by any means, and it shouldn't be too much of an issue, really. However, one of the big advantages that I mentioned earlier in this particular bag, with a backpack, if you want to access the contents, you always have to unstrap. You gotta take your backpack down. Maybe you reverse it, you put it on your chest, or maybe you put it down to access its contents. If I'm out and about on the bike, or I'm with the family, then one of the little ones most of the time wants something anyways. So I've found myself with a regular backpack, I'm permanently putting that thing up and down, up and down, up and down again, because something else pops up or we need to access something. In this particular backpack design, you have the advantage that you carry it and then you can just sling it around and put it just right in front of you, and you pretty much have it sitting under your chest, on your belly, and it is designed in such a way that each and every one of these pockets is then perfectly accessible, and I like this feature a lot. Another great feature that you can see here, and I really love it for a number of reasons. For one, they just a very simplistic but really genuinely good system to keep your zippers together. And in this case you would want that, because if you sling it around, you don't want to hunt for your zippers on the other side of the pouch. So they might be sitting down here somewhere, or they might be down here on the other end, and you're fishing for your zipper pulls. In this case, it is just a combination of paracord loops that just hold your individual zippers for each compartment in a separate place and together. It is also a great anti-theft unit, so meaning that it is, sure, it's not a lock, but it makes access to your pack a little bit easier, a little bit fumblier, and more time consuming, which is usually enough for your ordinary pickpocket and enough of a deterrent to keep you out of harm's way. So the way it works, you just open that up ever so slightly and you have access to your zippers. So let's have a look at this compartment first, which is the biggest volume of the front compartments. And you can see you have a little document pouch here and another angled document pouch here, and a little keeper chain or keeper strap for keys. I just keep a little bit of disinfectant alcohol in here, and my universal driver set from Weha, which is just an ordinary set of screw bits, but quite useful to have at times. So I'm not stuffing these pockets, mostly because my carry system is a tiny bit differently, and because that is here, you're also reminded not to put your zipper pulls off to the side, where later on you might have trouble getting to them. So easy access, you just leave them right here where you would tuck them back into your retaining system. And then you have that bigger pouch here, which is also nicely accessible in the vertical scenario. That's my sunglasses, and I do have my earbuds in this pocket. Once again, I'm not overstuffing these, I'm just using them as drop pouches. So the internal organization of these, I don't really worry too much about it, and the reason is I'm organizing all my smaller items into individual EDC pouches anyways, so I don't have to remember where I put things. So in this particular case, this is just for items that are a little bit bulkier for me, and I don't care about the internal organization of these all too much. So that gets us to the main compartment, which once again, out of the slung forward position, gives you access to the internals. And what I usually keep in there is my first aid kit. In this case, my choice of first aid kit at the moment. This is not a dedicated first aid kit by Vanquest. They do a dedicated one as well, which is a little bit better suited in terms of internal organization. I think that is called their Maximizer or FTIM Maximizer, which I like a lot. Because of its size, I try to pack these bigger pouches with less heavy items, and so for me that is usually first aid stuff. So that's my first aid kit in there. I always have a spare beanie with me, and then first aid kits are not much use to you if they are wet, so I always have a tri-pack with me. It's one of those sealable 25-liter pouches. They're very lightweight and yet watertight. If you're in a flooding situation, or we are living close to the coastline where we're under tsunami threat, I always have one of those in my pack for all the items that in case of a flooding or in case of a serious weather event that I can use to keep my important items dry. Phone, bits and pieces, first aid kit, all these things, they need to be dry to work for you. And these packs, well, they're sort of coated on the interior with a polyurethane coating to deter water, but if you have to cross a river or if you have to swim through something, it's not going to protect your equipment. And for that particular case, also that particular dry pack. So on top of that, just my everyday carry items that I usually have with me. In this case, that is the PPM Slim from Vanquest, which I like a lot, especially the high-vis interior. This is my EDC pack that moves from bag to bag with me, and as you can see, I don't put these items into the front organization pouches. If I move between packs, I just take that and I know I have everything I need. Then last thing is just a little cable management pack that I keep in here with all my charging cable needs, and also that moves with me from bag to bag. So on top of that, there's a secured pouch here in which I just put my waterproof sealskin gloves, and what you're left with on the inside is another big loop patch that once again allows you to attach accessory pouches or perhaps holsters, whatever you see fit. And then we have a see-through mesh that is only accessible from the top, which makes a lot of sense because the other side isn't really accessible in this particular case. But it is 2 individual compartments. In one I don't have anything at the moment, and in the other one that is the Y-shaped compression strap that usually would sit on the outside of this pack that I don't use. I like to have my packs clutter free and reduced of anything that I don't absolutely need, and compression straps for me are most of the time just plain in the way, so just take them out of the equation. So this is the pack more or less empty, and you can see that despite the fact that it's now empty, it retains its shape rather well, which is also a feature I like a lot. So I just don't like it if you have a bag that just collapses in itself like a wet towel, and this has a little bit of rigidity within itself, mostly owed to the 1000D nylon fabric, which is really hard wearing. And you can see at the bottom, I don't baby my bags, but you can see there's hardly anything on it even after 2 years of use. So the Teflon coating in combination with a very abrasion resistant material really does work well. On front, on the hook and loop panel on the strap, I have the pup pouch. It's out of the AGR series from Maxpedition, which is a pull-up pouch. So this takes your phone, it has a strap. I do currently use a OnePlus 7 Pro, which is a rather old phone, but most phones are actually the same or similar size, and it fits this particular pouch quite easily. And it has the advantage, you pull on that and you actually pull up your phone. Or maybe I can actually put my phone in there so you can see what is meant by that. You can actually push your phone in all the way, and it's kind of a good fit, and you pull it up and your phone comes out a little bit and ready to grab. So as far as a phone pouch is concerned, that's quite handy. But on top of that, we also have a small drop pouch integrated into that one, and in that are just my glasses, a little Perun OLED with charging cable and headband there. One of the features I like with that one too is that it just has a little bit of a hook on loop section here, so I can exchange it and put it on top of the pack if I have to, and hang my pack, and this way organize lighting if I can't have it on me or don't want to have it on my head for whatever reason. So that little OLED is really a good choice as well. So other than that, almost forgot, on your little support strap here you do have a whistle, which is handy, a little emergency whistle, and also they sew in a little keeper in case you have to quickly latch your key away. And on top here you get a padded handle, which is rather useful. I like to use that a lot. But on top of that, there's also tucked away into that little recess here, there's a little hanger loop. So if you have to hang your pack and you don't want to put it on the ground anywhere, then this comes in handy, and I've been using that a fair bit as well, which beats putting it on that padded section, which will just wear prematurely. So that's all great. Something I forgot is the side handle. So not as obvious. You get a D-loop here on the side to hang accessories, but also that little side handle. So this comes in handy if you have to pull it out of your car or need quick access, and you just gotta grab it on the side, and also because it's a pack that is designed to be swung around and sit in front of you like that, you're inclined to just lift it and pack it like that. If you have it in the vertical position, just so, then these pouches are designed, or openings, compartments, are designed in such a way that you also can quite easily access most of the contents. But really, you can see by design the way the internal pouches are oriented that it's really designed to be opened from the other side. But nonetheless, especially the top pouch, which is probably the pouch that I use the most in the vertical position, still as accessible as any other pouch on any other pack, and that also goes for the two lower pouches. So this pack is really somewhere on my top list. It's relatively compact, has all the features that I need in particular. I like its versatility, and I like to travel light. So this is a great pack. I do have a direct comparison. Another pack I use is the 511's Moab Sling pack, which I like too. But between the two, this one has a little bit more structure, is a little bit harder use, I would say. In terms of the materials used, it held up really well, and I would say it's slightly ahead of 511 in terms of material, and also the stitching has been absolutely flawless. Not that I can complain about 511 stitching. I have yet components or packs of them to fail on me. They haven't, but this is more trust inspiring. And in terms of organization, even though I don't make an awful lot of use of them, but the way the pouches and compartments are oriented, organized and thought through is a little bit more refined than what you would see on the Moab from 511. So in between the two, this one would be a clear winner, and I can say that with certainty because I have the other one available to me, but after a couple of uses I keep reverting back to this one for good reason. It's just so much more ergonomic on a daily basis. Another contender in this kind of sling pack ballpark with a similar volume would be Vanquest Javelin, I believe. And I like their products a lot. Unfortunately, so far they haven't been very accessible to me because I live in New Zealand. We don't have a distributor. This stuff is for me a little bit expensive and hard to get. But they have a similar concept, a similar bag that I would love to have a look at, especially because they organize the access to the pouch, the big compartment, a little bit more efficiently, and it would be really well suited for people with a lot of photo gear, where you really want the internal storage to be accessible to take bigger items with ease, and where you're able to get these out with more ease. So have a look at Vanquest's website for comparison, but you can see perhaps straight away how their products, especially also with the high-vis interior, have some appeal, and I yet have to make a comparison between the two. I plan to get one of their sling packs just because I'm so convinced of the Maxpedition, and I'm really curious to see whether their product could drive me away from using this particular peg. So this would be really interesting, and it's going to come at one point. At this point in time, however, I have to say, as far as sling packs are concerned and daily drivers, especially if you need access to your contents while you're on the move and you don't want to put your pack down every time you need access to an item inside your backpack or inside your sling pack in this case, then I can strongly recommend these sling packs, because they're just a dream to use when you don't take them off, which in a lot of city scenarios might also be relevant. Just keeping your bag on you where pickpocketing is a problem, and not having to put your bag down is a big advantage. So that's my take on the Gearslinger Sitka from Maxpedition. It's a great bag, and it comes thoroughly recommended. Alright, you all have a good weekend, and catch you next time. See ya, bye.